Prior to the Flight Air India 171 crash, the pilots on the previous flight had noted an on-screen message that indicated a problem with the horizontal stabilizer and its trim system. Aircraft maintenance engineers promptly downloaded the code to identify the specific problem. We must assume that the warning message of the previous flight was an amber caution alert and not a red warning alert. The code that maintenance downloaded was not specific, but it revealed it was a high-level problem. Unfortunately, the ability to clear the aircraft for flight is based on the minimum equipment list, which allows maintenance to make the final decision to release a plane for flight, which they often do when resolving an amber caution alert versus a red warning alert. The workers were likely under pressure to get the plane off the ground after the previous flight landed. The Air India Flight 171 was in the final stages of boarding when the maintenance crew finished their final check. The maintenance check began at 1 p.m. and was cleared at 1:20 p.m. The plane backed away from the gate 8 minutes later at 1:28 p.m. Takeoff was at 1:38 p.m. and the engines were off 20 seconds after takeoff. Pilots rely on the messages they receive in the cockpit, which also involves relying heavily on the interpretation that is deciphered by aircraft maintenance engineers. All the most critical data that would dispel almost all myths about the sequence of events and cockpit warnings could have been disclosed within a week, since the data was easily retrievable. The most crucial data is still being withheld under the guise of stating we must wait for the full report. Was the fuel cut off manually by a person, or was it autonomous? What is the complete transcript regarding what exactly was said in the cockpit, including which pilot spoke which words, since the headset channels are designated? What on-screen alerts and/or oral alerts in the cockpit were commanded on the same plane during its previous flight when it did not crash, and what were the messages and alerts during the subsequent flight in which it did crash? Did the stabilizer switches get manually turned off as a result of a problem for either flight? The disclosure of this information would solve almost all of the conspiracies surrounding the crash and should have easily been answered with transparency.